Surprise, surprise. What we're talking about is on the screen, Craig. And go. You see it?
Yeah, I do see it. I love this. I love showing up and, just be like, have a cup of coffee, just know how to plug in my mic, and then boom.
I wonder what Boulden's going to prepare
your
today.
Associate isn't producing enough.
I wonder
Thank
what
you,
Boulden's
Peter,
produce.
for getting this content. This is great.
It's good.
I've not seen it yet, but I feel like I should just drive and talk about it, and you could just listen.
You feel like you should drive?
Yeah, like you could just listen to the whole thing. Let me just roll with this one.
Oh yeah, I could be the guest listener.
I'm kidding. By the way, did you see that the word recap of us? The most frequent spoken word on the Bulletproof Dental Practice podcast?
Like or something.
Okay, sorry. Stupid. You know what second is?
What?
Associate. So like associate is
really?
Basically what we say.
big dummies. Just big dummies.
Okay.
A little bit of somber. And before we get into these 5 reasons why your associate isn't producing enough, I do want to talk about this because this really impacted dentistry in a big way this week. And Dr. Bruce Baird unexpectedly passed. He was a friend of Bulletproof, right? He really gave us a push when Craig, remember like in the California presentation, like he was our California summit, like he pushed us to do things. When really no one else kind of did. Just a charismatic, caring, pioneer, mentor, all the things. And dentistry is going to miss him. Honestly, man, he was one of the good guys.
Yeah. He was an amazing human. Well, when you came up and when you brought the screen up, my knee-jerk reaction, I don't know why I do it, but I always go to my text chain. When you lose somebody and as you're talking, I'm just like, reflecting on my conversations with him and how encouraging and supportive and what a champion for dentistry and his belief in dentistry and his mantra and his legacy is the Productive Dentist Academy. So I know it's not a coincidence that we're talking about, 5 reasons why your associate isn't productive. And that's what he dreamt of. He dreamt of creating a pathway for all of us to earn and do better. And the beautiful thing in dentistry is that when you are more productive, you help more people.
Right.
So that's Bruce's.
For sure. Do good by do. And literally, Craig, one of his favorite quotes is I was reading about a lot of his, just in tribute to him, I was just reading things about that he did or published or whatever. And one of his favorite quotes he actually said was do good by doing good, which we say a lot. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which he was a philanthrocapitalist almost, right? He wanted to give back. At the same time, he was a businessman and he started things like, what was the financing company and
compassionate finance.
He did well in his life financially, but he also was just liked and loved by a lot of dentists. So anyway, it was a big week. I got a bunch of texts from people. It was like, hey, did you hear? And it was, unfortunately it was tough. So anyway.
Yeah, he was a great man. Great man.
He was a great man.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, dentistry definitely lost a good one. And then, enough said about that.
All right. So before a couple other things I just have to talk about these 2 things. I like to bring in current events sometimes because it's just so crazy to me. And I can't stop thinking about them. And I'm like, okay, this is my platform. Like I just need to talk about it. So did you see in the news this week, or actually, did you see the Jerome Powell statement this week?
No, I actually didn't.
What? Oh my God.
Well, tell me about, no, I don't know. I've been like kind of deep diving on certain areas of current events, but not keeping myself well-rounded.
He kind of essentially posted like a hostage video from the Federal Reserve made a thing here. I can kind of play it, but essentially
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June.
Okay, so I'm not gonna keep on with all things. I think that's unnecessary, but it was out of left field, and the DOJ did serve him with a criminal investigation. So right now we have the federal government and the Fed at odds. And this is the tactics, right? So I think the Fed is dead.
Well,
and the Fed is coming, bud. And what does that mean? What does that mean?
Where is Zed?
Where is
Zed
what?
is dead. Remember?
No, the Fed is
I know,
dead.
I know, but that's from Pulp Fiction. Where's Zed?
Where's Zed?
But so I know that Trump was at odds with Powell, basically saying like, look at every first world nation has interest rates at such. Why are you holding us hostage? Essentially, suppressing the economy to try to keep it from doing what it's supposed to do. And I knew that friction existed. So then take me to what happened there. So basically, Trump is like,
look, if you won't lower interest rates and you won't do what I say, and you're not gonna resign in the next 4 months, then like we're probably going to go after you.
Right. And figure out the reasons why you're not doing this. Are you motivated?
Well, it's just, look, Trump will burn the bridge to get what he wants. I'm not making this political. I really don't want to make it political. So Kevin Hassett is pretty much been tapped as the new Fed chair. And why this is important for a dental pod is that, Greg, there's a Cantillon effect, right? When the money printer turns on, you've heard of that, the Cantillon effect. When the money printer turns on, the people closest to the printer do the best. And most dentists are closer up than someone who's impoverished, let's just say, right? And so also, given that we are in a midterm year and Trump has said straight up, I am worried that I'm going to get impeached if the Dems take control. He's actually literally said that. So I feel like it's going to be a wild year from a liquidity, from hey, I need 1.5 trillion for the military, to what happened in Venezuela, to what the threats now in Cuba. Like, it's just going to be, and then we have the Fed and the DOJ at odds. Like, it's like how lucky are we, or how crazy is it that we are alive today in this simulation? It's crazy to me.
Well, let me ask you something. So I just want to break down, I'm happy we have these roles, because I'm like actually a little lost. So I'm going to represent the more than half the people that are listening to this that are a little lost. So let's just kind of crystallize this. So Trump is he's launched the DOJ investigation on Powell. Powell's going to be out. Trump's going to put a friendly person to his agenda. Interest rates will fall, correct?
Correct. Interest rates will fall.
And then with interest rates falling, we're going to have the printing.
Correct.
So
you're going to have the interest rates falling and printing at the same time through increased budget. So Trump will go down as the biggest spender probably ever of our presidents, right? And the plan is to get to a 10% GDP, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I listened to the All In Pod, and I listened to Howard Lutnick saying that we can get to 6% GDP. And basically it's happening because of like the tariffs, how things have worked.
Yeah. And so again, to pull this back into dentistry, because there may be some
people are going to hear this as like, oh my God, they're talking
talking politics
this is where the puck is going.
Yeah. And so, right, we can live head down in our dental world forever in our office and not pick our head up and think that the macro and the world around you doesn't influence the prosperity that you have. It does.
Dental spending goes in lockstep with the S&P 500.
100%.
So like, you will see if things are going to go better in the macroeconomics, your dental practice will do better. It just works that way.
Okay. So that's, do you feel okay about that? I want to move on to the next crazy thing, which is not related to politics at all, but it's related to AI and robotics.
Is that Elon Musk's prediction? Is that the prediction you got on the screen?
I have a prediction from Elon, and it was baffling to me because long.
I saw this.
Hold on, don't give it away.
I won't, but I just want to let you know I'm not completely under a rock.
Okay. And look, I think he's very optimistic with his timelines. But it is what you're about to hear is a matter of when, not if. Also, Craig, I sit from stage a lot of times and I say this, and you've heard me say it, that I love dentistry because it's the AI and robotic resistant industry. Right. And I still believe that, but not in perpetuity. Right. Lawyers go first, dentists, plumbers maybe last, but there is some intermediate. I mean, there is a timeline in there that we're not safe forever. And who knows, maybe it's 30, 40, 50 years, maybe not in our lifetime. I don't know. I don't want to get into prognosticating stuff like this.
So you're saying it's not when, it's not if, it's when.
Oh,
is what you're
dude.
saying.
Yeah. Look, I think we'll see 10x the advancements of 2025 in terms of tech and compute that we saw. Yeah, 10 times the escalation that we saw in 25 in terms of compute and advancements and things like this. You know, life longevity, like they're cracking the code on longevity and reversal. And like, there's so much shit going on that it would blow your mind. And it's no longer theory. It's actually happening. So, all right, let me play this video without further ado. So can you actually, let me go to stop sharing that and go to the other screen. All right, you ready? You see it?
Yep,
All
see
right.
it.
There we go. Peter, this is Peter Diamandis interviewing Elon Musk in about a 3-hour interview.
When do you think optimists will be a better surgeon than the best surgeons? How long for that?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. And by the way,
I say 3 years. 3 years at scale.
Yes.
There'll probably be more optimist robots that are great surgeons than there are all surgeons on Earth.
And the cost of that, but that's an important statement in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
Because medicine, I mean,
absolutely certain, but I say if you say like 4 years, I'd be absolutely
if it's 4 or 5 years, who cares? That's still an
extreme precision.
Yes.
3 years. Yes. Better than any, probably, I'd say if you like put a little margin on it, better than any human in 4 years.
Who's in plastic surgery.
But 5 years is not even close.
I think your point was medicine is going to be effectively free. The best medicine in the world.
Everyone will have access to medical care that is better than what the president receives right now.
So don't go to medical school.
Yes. Yeah. Pointless.
Yeah. Pointless, he said.
I mean, unless you, but I would say that applies to any form of education. It's not like some, I do it for social reasons.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Medical, you're not going to medicine.
Yeah,
Do
so
it
basically
for
become a
social
dentist so you can hang out with people, but don't do it to make money. Right? Like if you want to be a dentist or a doctor, do it because you enjoy practicing the craft, but don't expect to make a return on your investment.
Yeah, but look, okay, that you took away that, but I extracted, hey, diagnosticians are not safe. Surgeons and dentists and things like that, we are safe. And so I've always kind of sat on that. And then to hear the smartest man in the world, right, who probably has forgotten more than I'll ever know about things, is saying with very strict confidence, by the way,
yeah,
here's what's going to happen. And look, he may be wrong in his timeline, like I said, but that was jarring to me. I rewinded that and watched that section many times, like, oh my God, he's not talking about surgeons. He's talking about dentists.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and like, if you could just, Peter, if you could just imagine a very small robotic device, let's call it like 2 inches by 1 inch, right? In a rectangle, right? And it would go over a quadrant of your mouth. And let's say it would anchor on tooth number 31 and tooth number 28, and just anchor, like you could just like anchor it into place. And it had just a variety of like lines going to it. Small device, like almost like, just like a mouth prop, almost like a bite block.
Yep.
But that had micromotors in it and could prep a tooth so that the motion of your body and your jaw is not separate from the motion. The robot is stabilized onto your teeth.
Right.
You don't
very much like LASIK, how they bolt you in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. But the fact is the robot is mounted to the hard structures that it's milling on. So yes, he's thinking optimist and he's got a plan for optimists to do these macro movements. Dentistry is micro robotic. It's actually, you don't need it's all self-contained. So, I mean, it would be interesting to see how it all works. But yes, I agree with you. It went from like we're AI resistant to it's just like we have more oxygen.
Yeah, we have more time, and like, I don't know. I think this is just fascinating. if I had no context of a business to put it in, right? If I didn't own businesses, I'd be like, oh, that's really, really neat, right? But because we exist as people to kind of, to our masters and our mastermind and in this pod, right? It's very interesting to give people trains of thought that maybe they didn't get at the CE course they attended this week, at the composite course, right? They pick their head up and like, oh shit, okay. Well, if this is where the puck is going, how do I, from a Patrick Bet-David standpoint, go to 5 steps ahead or go 3 steps ahead, or at least instruments, because someone's going to profit from the movement, or actually someone always profits from the movement of where things are going. How can I be that person? Not me specifically, but how can I be that person? You still there?
I am. I'm just listening to you. I just,
you're processing. This is a lot to, I know you didn't have any prep for this. So
no, I hear you. And I just, my first thing is like, okay, dismiss, because it's going to be a lot longer than Elon is always off with his timelines. We know that he is a futurist. He doesn't, his deployment is always lagging
too, right? Technological optimist.
And all these positive forces of technology and advancement are going towards building society. And we've got a society right now, a world that's it's in a chaotic point. And one thing we know about humans is we tend to develop very quickly and then destroy very quickly. And I look at the macro civilization, and we don't have to go here, but I toured Pompeii, and Pompeii, like the lost ruins of Pompeii, and, obviously sunk by, snuffed out by Vesuvius, the volcano, but it had more infrastructure than any civilization that came basically 500 years after it. So I'm optimistic about technology, but I'm not optimistic about humanity. So
interesting.
Everybody's going towards using AI and all these great forces of good to make medicine, democratize medicine and surgeons and all that. But human beings are pretty tricky, and we'll figure out a way to screw it up on the way.
I agree. I think it's all the more reason for the patient experience, right? And doubling down on that, because humans at the core will still desire that connection kind of thing.
Yeah. But I am amazed, because right now I rented a Cybertruck because I had to go up to Tallahassee last week, and we were just talking about it before we hit record. I am amazed at how many people, and we talked about this just briefly with Waymo in Atlanta. There's a very hard line in the sand where people implicitly
tell that story too in the Waymo.
Well, I just said, I rented a Cybertruck because I needed to go 6 hours and I didn't want to drive myself. I've always loved the idea of the luxury of a driver, but a driver, sneezes and coughs and farts and has his or her own personality. And
plays music.
Plays his own music. And I have the best of both worlds. I have a truck that's driving me, but I'm in control and I'm in the front seat and I can see better. So, and you just said, funny enough, there's Waymo in Atlanta right now. When you request Uber, you may, by luck of draw, get a Waymo or a human. And you're telling me that people are canceling Uber rides when a person shows up because they prefer Waymo.
Well, no. Yeah. When they get their driver, not when they show up, but when they get the driver in the app, it's like, okay, you've been connected. It's like, cancel. And they're doing it 4 or 5 times until they get the robot
Waymo
driver,
yeah.
Which if that's not a tell, again, puck is where puck is going.
Right.
Like, so how do you do that for dentistry? Okay.
Well, imagine, let's just take it one more step further. Okay. So we know FSD, full self-drive, is saying that, at least I've heard, it's a multiple safer per vehicle mile driven.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as robotic dentistry becomes 5 times better, it's going to be the same thing. Do you want a dude hanging over you, sneezing and breathing with a mask, or like over the top of you, judging you, and sit still, versus you get to move around, crack your neck a little bit.
That doesn't hurt,
Yeah. Come on. Why did you take off 5 years from dentistry? This gets worse.
Only
floss the ones you want to keep. Yeah. And have the assistant having to laugh. It's super uncomfortable. So if anything needs to get disrupted, it's probably dentistry, unfortunately.
Well, certain aspects, non-bulletproof type dentistry for sure.
Okay. I'm
kidding.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the topic
for 5 hours, Peter, while we do an FMR, and you'll see if you like me that much.
I hijacked and it's my fault, right? I came up with a topic and I was like, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons your associate isn't producing as much as they should be. And then I let hijacking take over with what we just talked about, but it was fun. And I'm glad we did it. Okay. So let's put on our different caps. Let's put on our operator cap now, because we just had our futurist cap on and our philosophical cap on. Let's put our caps on of being bosses or hires or leaders of practices that have associates. Okay. You there? Did you make the change? Did you make the transition?
I literally put in a cap.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
So Craig, and I know what the magic number is to produce $1 million a year is roughly $83,333. Okay. Per month. So as a great benchmark, and the reason I said this would be a great benchmark, like the goal, the strive for your associate would be this number in front of you, the 85,000, is because I believe that a lot of things open up at the $1 million mark. A, it's psychological, the 4-minute mile for that said associate. 2, I think before that, partnership is really hard to do from a debt service standpoint. So I think it's really good to get there. And then maybe I just have 2 points. Do you have any more on that? Like why that's probably a great benchmark?
No, I am actually really glad that you're bringing this up, because, you and I, with the, having so many masterminders come through, there are people that say a really good associate's $400,000 a year or $33,000 a month. And
Right.
I've had people say that the bare minimum is $3 million a year.
Right.
And it's like, wow, can we all just that's great
Right.
that's your experience. But in our ecosystems, if you can find an associate that's doing $1 million a year, they're making a really good wage. They're far ahead of the average take home pay, and it's healthy for the practice. And like you said, it allows them to generate superfluous income such that they could qualify and pay for a buy-in to your practice. Which is
and should be the goal, right? I mean,
agreed.
No one, like you said, your line, no one washes a rental car. You should want people to strive to put a chip on the table. If we've learned anything in our lives, it's we are where we are because we let other people buy into our vision.
Yep. Right. Shared growth.
Okay. So, all right. So we generally agree on that. And we definitely agree that 30,000 is not acceptable. 40,000 is not acceptable. Those are more hygiene numbers. Okay. So I'm going to say, again, the topic of the pod is the 5 reasons your associate isn't producing what they should be. And so number 1, I came up with same-day dentistry opportunities. I think it's probably the most underutilized thing, especially for associates. As a matter of fact, I gave you a story. I remember when I hired Dr. Drew King, who is now the CEO of Atlanta Dental Spa, and he really wanted to come on board, and a lot of his dental friends were working inside ADS. And I was like, man, I don't really have chairs and the need for you right now. I was like, but here's the deal. No one's doing same day dentistry because we're really busy. So I will let you do some exams, and what you eat, you can kill, or what you kill, you can eat. And he was like, okay. And so literally, like, he was born from the air, from like, just give me an opportunity and I will enroll and then prep and do all the things. Right. But it's the same day dental opportunities. And what he would do is go in hygiene and say, hey, coincidentally, I have time today. Yeah, I had a lot of time, right? Because he didn't really have a book and didn't really have much space. And he would enroll things right from hygiene in the same day dentistry. And Marvin Berlin, one of the most iconic dental entrepreneurs, he's been one of my mentors and friends for 25 years now. He will claim that the number one thing to accelerate your practice growth is adopting as a core principle, same day dentistry, always looking for opportunities to convert into same day dentistry.
Yeah. In fact, he built that whole marketing platform with the $1 emergency exam.
That's
what
right.
A great idea. Because he knows the exam fee's nothing, because if someone walks in with a raging toothache or a broken tooth, they're doing treatment that day.
You know what else he did that I just admire him for, like being ahead of the game. And this isn't real around the dentistry, but it's the marketing. In 2003, he took a gamble and put on the .com as his name of his signage.
McKinney
.com became the name of the practice.
Yeah.
And he said that was, again, just explosive growth. And I really just admired like that trailblazing, like, hey, this could work. This could be cool. Or this could be like, people could make fun of me for it blowing up my face. And shit, was it cool. Right. So
he named his office McKinney.com.
Like that's the branding.
Yeah. Such a good idea.
Such a good idea. Right. Like, and as we look back now, like we've had our marketing conversation, Craig, last week. And as we look back and we talked to Darren Shaw, we look back now in terms of like nomenclature of your practice, how important that was in hindsight. We came up with fancy names back in the day, aesthetic, like I did, aesthetic dentistry. But in the end, it's like the keywords drive traffic.
And if you look at his website and his building has channel backlit letters, McKinneyDentist.com.
As big as permitted, but he told me.
It's not McKinney Dentist. It's amazing. You're right. I love it.
So
we got to get Marvin on.
We do. He's been on before.
I know, but let's get him back on.
I would love to.
He's with Heartland now. He's been with them for
he's been with Heartland since like the beginning.
Yeah.
Marvin, if you're listening, hit me up. Text me. Let's get you back on the pod.
Yeah, let's get him on.
All right. So I love it that you agreed with that. So same day opportunity, big thing. If you're not utilizing this, doc, in your practice, or associate in your, I'm speaking to you, associate, or you, doc, if you're not utilizing this, really put some thought behind it, and then use your morning meeting to identify and architect what that looks like. Hey, I want you to go in at 2:30 with Sharon, who has that crown, and look at the space we have available. Like, that's how strategic your day should be. The morning meeting should not be read your schedule. It should be, hey, at 2:00, I'm going to come in and do an exam, and I'm going to enroll this crown because I'm going to get her over here because I have an opening. Okay. So, Sally, Peter, the hygienist, got it. Perfect. Let's do it together. High five. Boom. Like literally like a team. Sorry, Craig.
No worries. So listen, I'm going to put on my hat and you're going to wear your hat.
Okay.
So the tactic is same day dentistry. The character trait is hunger. Okay. So the person who's not hungry will not seek same day dentistry.
Okay.
So I have had, let's call it 20 associates. Some fail because they cannot produce 20 grand a month or 30 grand a month. And some in their first year do 2.4 million. Same ecosystem,
same opportunity.
Same treatment. I'm sorry?
Same opportunity.
Right?
Yeah.
So what we have to do, and what you did so eloquently with Dr. King, and for those that are hiring an associate, take on this understanding. You have to explain to the doctor, we have a framework and a system. We have fertile ground here at our practice. What does fertile ground mean? You don't just hope that seeds get planted. You have to plant the seeds and water them, but the ground is good. So when you plant seeds in fertile ground, the work you do grows. If you plant seeds without fertile ground in a desert, no matter what you do, doesn't grow. So as we go through this, I have an imagination and a hallucination. You're going to go through the tactic. And I always want to go through the characteristic.
What do you mean a hallucination? That's all I do is go through tactic, and all you go is through the heart and the psychology.
Some people are hearing like, oh, I just got to talk to Dr. Jones about same day dentistry. Can't wait to, play this podcast for him. And maybe Dr. Jones, you're listening to this. Dr. Jones, are you hungry?
Yeah.
Because you show me someone hungry. Oh my word.
Right. A zebra doesn't change its stripes kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Like we had a masterminder, and I love the story. I won't hijack it too long, but like literally I said, like, what's this person doing? It's very frustrating. This person's only doing like 20, 30 grand. I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, well, they take like 4 hours to do a crown prep. I'm like, well, did you ask them? And the associate told the owner, doc, hey doc, I actually have a problem. I move slow, and I'm talking to my psychiatrist or my psychologist on how to get me to move faster. So imagine working with that. Imagine if I told you I actually have a problem with my motor system. I can't walk more than this pace. Good luck fixing that. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm going to reserve comment on that. Okay. Number 2, I believe that diagnosis is too reliant on the look what I'm saying, as opposed to having big pictures up on screen, having x-rays and before and afters and arch photos. There is statistics that say when pictures are up there and we're using media as the intermediary to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is you, and you're using that as an explanation, that acceptance is much higher because people don't buy what they don't understand. So if you don't have big monitor or not even monitors, if you don't have big ass TVs in your office that you can throw up, a 3-foot arch photo, if you're enrolling arch dentistry, and being able to talk about that, you see that crack, and yeah, we see how again is the stain and this and that, right? And then pull up x-rays in the same content. Hey, we're going to fix this. And then all your job is to say, here are the problems. And then you wait for someone to say, oh, how do I fix that? And then it's like, perfect. Right. So, people don't, they can't understand it. They can't, and they won't buy it. They may buy it based on your trust, but if you are a new dentist, an associate dentist, you don't have the trust bestowed like the senior doc would per se. Everyone's already got their alarm up at you. Like, does this young whippersnapper know what they're doing? So use technology. Walk in. I used to tell you, Craig, remember, I think I haven't said this in a while, but I used to walk into my consultations. This is back in 2000 when iPads were high tech, in 2008, 5, 6, whatever, whenever they came out. I would walk into my consultations with an iPad, not with the intent to actually use it all the time, but it would vicariously tell them that I was an artist who was high tech. And I would kind of just sketch some things on there sometimes, like, take my pencil, look at your pictures and blah, blah, blah. Just as a perceived high tech dentist. I know that's a little ridiculous, but 20 years ago, it wasn't ridiculous.
I love it. Yeah, okay. No, I'm here. I'm just listening to you, but I do think that
I'm only even seeing my screen, my PDFs right now.
No. Yeah, it's a good thing to check just to make sure I'm actually here. I do think we always
texting right now.
We always have the same reaction when a patient sees their smile larger on a screen. Yeah, it's always the same. They can't believe
toes?
it. And then I would go so far to say, like, when you're talking about like clear liner movement, I could never do an Invisalign consultation without a scan done, because you need to show people what's currently going on. You need to show people the wear. And like specifically for iTero, you have that weather map function where you can show like the high forces.
Yeah. Or Pearl, shows Pearl things AI. Now. Like
it's so crazy.
The technology, if you're not good as a, look at me do a magic trick. We're like, Craig, you're good at just coming in there and being like, hey, just trust me. And they're like, okay, I'll trust you.
No, but if you're someone, I would always have visual aids.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And it's just no matter how good you are, no matter how charismatic you are, no matter how great at sales or education or whatever, if you have to be adopting this in order to show people what's possible, show them the benefit. Here's the problem. Here's the benefit.
Well, okay? It goes from you telling me to us co-diagnosing and discovering 100%. Together.
Say that again. Say that again for the people in the back.
It goes from, So essentially, like, that's why even my Ford dealership, like when I have my Ford back at service, they send me pictures. I have no flippant idea what they're sending me. But you see how the brake pad is worn? This is what it should be. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Spend $1,000. So it goes, people just need to see it. And when they see it, and they see it worn.
Analyze these pictures. Is this really worn, Grok, or are they full of shit?
They're like, that's from an aircraft. That's not even your car. But it doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is that when you have a picture up there, you have a participant in a co-diagnosis. You understand what's going on.
Yep. And and Sharice and I, when we do the trust transfers and stuff on there, that a part of that is part of that demonstration or that live demo at Summit is utilizing what we're talking about, right? It's that they are the apex. The person is the triangle, right? Meaning Sharice and I would be looking at the person and kind of using each other. It's like a trust triangle, but we're also pointing to the screen all the time. You see this, Mrs. Jones?
Yeah.
Okay. So the third thing is the language of which we decide to use, and because we want to be liked, Craig. I see this happen a lot as I listen to new dentists enroll or go in and do an examination. We always talk about the over the top verbiage in terms of technical verbiage that happens, but also there's a minimizing language that happens. Just going to take just a quick peek, just a little bit, just a sort of, it's like these very weak words equals weak acceptance. And so what I think is the best tactic is, like you said, the co-diagnosing is like, hey, Mrs. Jones, here's the problem. Let me show you, right? Okay. Second thing I would say is, okay, and the consequence of that is if an almond hits that cusp where there's all these lines, it could break this tooth, this cusp. It could end up being an extraction. And this isn't a fear thing, but it is, I'm not trying to scare you, but like these are all the things that can happen. And I've seen them happen in my career.
Yeah. The thing in your diagnosis.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Craig. And then I do just what I'm doing right now. I did just what I'm doing right now. And I would wait. And I shut my damn mouth. I wait for Mrs. Jones to say, well, I don't want that to happen. What do I do? What should I do? Back to the co-diagnosis, opposed to me being like, here's the problem, here's the consequence, here's the solution, all three things. I didn't really need you for nothing. You wait and shut your mouth after you give the consequence. And wait for them to ask the question of how do I fix? How do you give me hope? How do I become the hero of my story? Go ahead, Craig. Sorry. I just wanted to land that because in nervous talk, when associates, baby associates and newbie dentists get very nervous. And so when we get nervous, the cadence of our talk escalates, right? And whenever there's pause, we fill it in with jargon and nonsense, and we don't let the patient feel heard and all these things. So just get into the practice of quiet sometimes. Let them process. Let them ask, what's the next move?
I think the one important thing for everybody to understand is that you don't have a crystal ball when it comes to patients' future dental disease. So yes, we it might be just a little cavity or just a little this or just a small area of infection. But we've all been in clinical situations where that little thing turned into catastrophic loss of a tooth.
Totally.
And we've all been in situations where that little thing stayed the same for 20 years. We don't have a crystal ball. So I like the narrative you said, you're just one biting of an almond away. But I always, if that makes you feel uncomfortable as a good, better, best, even the very minimum is like, look, Mrs. Jones, there is an area of decay. But I have seen in my clinical experience, this type of thing turn catastrophic in 3 months or 4 months. And I've seen things like this take years to develop. I don't know.
Sure.
And I want you to be in the control of, do you want to fix it while it's small?
Perfect.
Or do you want to wait for something as drastic to happen?
Perfect verbiage, right? If you're uncomfortable with high pressure, oh, you're screwed kind of thing. Now, and for time's sake, I'm not giving the full articulation of the verbiage. But
the point I was trying to make is
I agree, Craig.
It's your job. It's your responsibility. No, forget the enrollment. You know how pissed I'd be if I was going to a dentist that wasn't taking x-rays and wasn't looking ahead. We talk about that with our healthcare, Pete. Like, you go to the average doctor, you're fine, get out of here. The American Heart Association says you have a good 10-year survival rate. Well, shit, man, I'm 45. I don't want to die at 55.
You've done the stress test. There's no problem.
Yeah, you seem fine. So like there's a segment of the consumer that actually wants to avert disasters. And you can't judge your patient. Maybe you're that type of patient. Hey, listen, if you break a tooth and it's Monday through Thursday and I'm open, I'm going to fix it. So if you want to wait till it hurts and is broken, maybe that could work for you. But that's not the way most people want to live their lives. And it is your job as a dentist to point out all forms of disease, whether they're fast progressing or slow progressing.
So it's so good. It's so good.
Without regard to how you feel about it. That goes, look, we're all comfortable talking about decay and infection, but we should be talking about tooth wear as well. If you have a 26-year-old girl who has only owned her front teeth for what, 15 years or 14 years, and they're already worn 3 millimeters off. The incisal ledges are worn down. You better talk to that person.
Right.
You better have that conversation.
And it's not, hey, does this bother you?
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Did you notice your teeth are getting short? Yeah, no big deal. Okay, you look good.
Like,
see you when you're 50.
Again, there is a science, to the language, and some of it, Craig, comes with a lot of repetitions of the feedback loop, meaning, hey, that worked, they enrolled. Hey, that didn't work, they didn't enroll, right? It just comes with years of doing it, and you get good and comfortable with your presentation. My point is here that I want people to be conscientious about the words that are coming out of the mouth. And one tip for this, Craig, would be this. Here's a tactic here. Of course, I'm going to give the tactic.
So here's the tactic. Here's the character. The characteristic is us dentists will do more for others than we'll do for ourselves. When we talk about minimizing language, it's not about you. It's you have a legal, ethical responsibility as a dentist to let a patient know everything going on. That's it. And a lot of us don't do that. A lot of dental practices out there are watching disease, doing bloody prophies, not taking the very best care of the patient. And because it's about our own bullshit. Oh, my area, I practice in this part of New York and patients don't have perio in that part of New York, or I practice in a rural town. They can't afford crowns. So I'm just doing MODBLs on everybody. That's all about your own bullshit.
Right.
As a doctor, you took an oath to help people, not to deal with your own psychosis. Sorry, I just wanted to go through the character.
So if 2000, let's just say 5 was 2025, I used to record myself, Craig. Where I'm going with this, if there were some technological tools available back then that there were now, here's what I would do today if I was in this space. I used to record myself. I would go in, I would just hit record on my phone, my iPhone 1. I would go in and record. And because I wanted to, that's right. The big thick guy. I would go in and record myself. And that's not a HIPAA violation because obviously there's no context to that. I was doing it for me, training myself. No different than when I was going through accreditation process. I was judging, taking pictures and looking at them in slides kind of thing as your dentistry, right? So it's just another way to elevate. So because what you think you said and what was smooth and blah, 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 it's just a form of training. So what I would do now is I would do the same thing, except I would upload it. I would upload it to a chat or a Claude or whatever and say, hey, this was a consultation I did as a dentist. Judge me on some things I did right in the lens of maybe the lens of a Cialdini or the lens of a Tony Robbins or the lens of if those 3 men were sitting as my coach, what would they say as a feedback? And just take in the knowledge, how you did, and grade me. Give me a grade. Give me a grade as a scale of 1 to 10 or ABC. Or an A, B, C, D, F. That's what I would do. I know you probably, your knee jerk is not that because you probably never needed that, but I would be using the tools of modern society to help me get better.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Look, you're still recording yourself. Nothing's changing.
And here I am still in my own echo chamber.
Yes. That was a good podcast.
That was really good.
Attaboy.
Stretching to get my bag and pat myself on the back. All right. Yeah. Step number 4 is we stop diagnosing from the wallet. I think when you're associate, you're thinking, oh, this person's rich or this person's poor, or they can't afford it, or they won't listen, or they won't do this. The insurance coverage isn't going to do it. Therefore, I'm not even going to talk about it, right? Like stop diagnosing from X, whatever that means. And just look at ideal consultations and just have conversations, about that hard thing, about that wear, about that macro that's going on in the mouth as opposed to the micro. Oh, look at that crack. Yeah, but didn't you see the collapsed VDO, or didn't you see, this big interference, blah, blah, blah. Having these big conversations that people are afraid to do because they think in their head, I'm wasting my time. They can't afford this. They won't do this. Insurance doesn't cover this. I just think it's a bad tactic because, again, going to the feedback loop, Craig, is what we're going to see is if you shoot for, I'm just going to enroll this crown because that's all it will pay for, you will become more of that for the remainder of your career, right? Because you will see success. Oh, I'm really good at doing that. I'm just going to do that. My day's easy, so to speak. My day's easier. And you will have this feedback loop of, I'm going to do that more because my success is 100% versus shit, my enrollment is 30%. What's going on? Maybe I really need to address this. Sorry, go.
No. I'm with you. That's the tactic and the characteristic I know I keep, or the personality trait, is a lot of people have very deep money bullshit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people.
Yes.
I am shocked how pervasive the toxic psychology of money is. And I see what I call broke psychology infiltrate people. And I see it with doctors. I know doctors that are, very upset with patients that show up at our practice. Did you see the watch he's wearing? Did you know that watch cost this? Or did you know that car cost this? You know how much that car is? And I will oftentimes say to people that Ferrari that guy is driving, although it's, X number of dollars, $400,000 or $300,000, he actually spends less on his car than we do if he had a Camry, because he's actually has a car that he bought for $300 and he could sell it for $300 in 3 years. Whereas your Camry still costs you $400 a month, no matter what.
The maintenance, the recurring maintenance kills you.
Well, whatever. Spoken as a Ferrari owner, but I just think that I think the point I'm trying to crystallize is that you cannot be successful if you secretly resent and have a toxic relationship with money.
Right.
And believe it or not, it's very pervasive. You got it. You picked it up from a family member or from your spouse has and you are constantly, that's the big thing that I see. And I've witnessed the personal breakthroughs of like 50 to 70 different providers, whether they're hygienists or dentists, where they it clicks one day. I can give a shout out to my hygienist, Kirsty. She's like, look, I had some money stuff going on and I saw this jump in her productivity. She's a hygienist. She does I think 520 a year. And it clicked one year. It went from 250 to 500 in 18 months in yearly collections. I'm like, what the heck happened to you? She goes, I stopped putting my own money crap into the conversation.
Wow.
I just said, if this was my husband or me, I would go ahead and do this with my teeth.
Thereby. So you're saying the bias of the hygienist, the doctor, the associate, not even talking about the patient anymore.
Not the patient. It's all internal. What do you feel about money? You ever had a treatment coordinator that just couldn't slide the sheet of paper on across the table on anything over 10 grand or 15 grand? They literally, they broke out in a cold sweat. You walked in, patient's so excited. I can't wait to transform my smile. Patient's wearing a nice watch. They're put together. And the treatment coordinator's like, oh, it's 10 grand. Oh, 10 grand. Yeah. Well, I see it all the time. So again, stop diagnosing the wallet, but really got to fix your own stuff first. It's not about you. You need to always, my dad told me this, from the first day I graduated dental school and started working with him, always give the patient the very best. Let a patient decide. There's a construction worker that wants the gold or wants the high precious or the, whatever it is, the higher level. And then there's the millionaire who's like, who cares? Pull the tooth. Don't judge people. Give everybody the opportunity to have the best care.
Love it. Love it. Okay. And then the last thing that is, and this kind of falls on not the associate being the problem, but I think that there's a lot of lack of mentorship when we get associates. Wouldn't you agree, Craig?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, I think in things like this, it's not just, hey, you got your degree, you should know what to do, right? I think there's the fix to the no mentorship thing is co-case plan, right? Give them feedback, listen to their consultations, triage for them, right? Dr. Jones, who was our new associate, is a master at quadrant dentistry. So he's going to be doing this going forward. right? Give them, I told our mastermind, like, give them a domain of where they can thrive. And so, for example, if you're not doing Invisalign in your practice, or you're not doing indirect restorations, inlays or onlays or something like that, give someone like the domain of what they own. They did that to me when I was an associate back in 2001. Like, I really was like the camera guy, right? I was the new techie. I was the camera guy. I was helping people with their cameras, and like as an office, like taking full series photos. And I was the veneer seats. I learned how to do veneer seats, not veneer preps, but the seat of it. So like, I had my own like master domain of this, and it really made me feel good because the team knew to come to me with tech problems and camera problems, but also like, hey, what do you think about this seat kind of thing? So that would be my advice is the first part of your diligence when you hire someone. Let me say this again. There should be copious amounts of diligence, as we've learned in all these podcasts, on how when you hire them. But even when you get the thoroughbred on board, if you don't have a good system in place, if you're not dedicated to carving off some of your time in order to ensure their success, that's going to be shame on you kind of thing. So again, back to the co-case plan. Let's look at this together. Let's look at, you've got this big case you enrolled. Let's look at it together. Let me help triage for you on the things that you're the master of. Let me give you feedback, right? Let me create this dialogue where you see I need feedback as the senior doc. I want to give you the same. So we have this bilateral arrangement where it's the teacher teaching the student and vice versa all the time, right? It's not like master and student kind of thing. So we see this a lot, Greg. I know you have some comments here, but this is a big reason why associates fail and also then don't feel emboldened to grow.
Agreed. and I think that you've just pointed to a very generous owner, an owner that wanted to pull an associate to grow them, teach them everything they're going to learn, that they can learn, with the hopes of creating a long-term alignment for each other, so the associate could have a pathway to partnership and that the business could flourish. But let's get real here. The average dentist that is out there is, and this is something I hear most common thing when I ask the native population, not the Bulletproof audience, but the native population, why do you want to bring an associate? Well, duh, to give them all the grunt work. Yeah. I want to do the big stuff so that I can get the 3 surface composites off my schedule and they can do all the crap.
Yeah.
At which point, that's basically what you're going to get. You're going to get an apprentice that is going to do the crap, and they need no mentorship because
you're going to get
trained.
A junk assassin, and that's about it.
So again, the failure comes in the figure out what type of associate you want. And maybe you are an FMR person and you don't want to do the lower stuff. And maybe you could find the associate that just wants to do composites. But
look,
all day long.
Craig, back to like back to first principles, right? I know this is going to be not abundant thinking for someone listening, or it is going to be abundant thinking rather, but many people who are in scarcity mindset. But as we've learned in our jobs, like we have continually tried to extricate ourselves from everything we do in our worlds. Right? Meaning we went from nucleus of everything to learning out how to extricate. Well, I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. I won't do this anymore. The same thing applies with your dentistry. I think it should not that you should be this fast removal of you doing something, but if you only want to do cosmetics or you only want to do implants the rest of your career, you should strive to encourage that person and get the people in your ecosystem to get that off of your plate. And then once that's off your plate, then you should strive to replace you as implant, as cosmetic, as whatever. Because if we've learned anything, the wrist breaks or the person has, can't practice anymore or whatever. Think about the gaping hole that would still exist if your practice couldn't have the cosmetics anymore because you were the only person who was allowing that to go through it.
Yeah. When you're talking, Pete, I'm trying to dumb it way down. I
really?
think, no.
Why does it need dumbing down?
No, I'm dumbing it down from where I want to go in my mind. I hear you. What you're saying is very obvious to me and very clear. What I'm trying to make a larger point in that when we talk about the words like vision and all this stuff, people get lost. And what I'm hearing you say is long-term plan. So you're at breaking point. Like maybe there's a dentist that's listening right now and she's thinking to herself, I am at a breaking point. I haven't had a vacation in 3 years. I am losing my brain. I don't know what to do here. I'm losing my mind. Let me just get someone to take all the grunt work off.
Yeah.
But that is a stopgap measure. It's not a very well thought out plan. And again, for someone who's starving and you ask them, do you want filet mignon or lobster? Like, hey, are you freaking kidding me? Give me a slice of Wonder Bread. I haven't eaten. So don't talk to me about what type of food I should have. I'm starving. I just need a cracker right now. And that may be what's going on in your dental practice. But I just implore you to just get a little bit more strategic and think, is it that you really just need a grunt, someone to take off the grunt work? Or would you actually like to transition your practice to become a dental business?
Right.
And if
or
you
just
want
more revenues, right?
But if you do want a dental business, then you have to look at what are the procedures that I do, because really what you're going to need is someone to do those.
100%.
And what does that really mean? That means short term, you may make less money because to teach people is costly, both in time and money and resources. But long term, you're going to build something more sustainable. And I just think most people are in such a state of panic that they don't allow themselves to think about what's possible. And they just want to placate the now. So my advice to everybody listening to this at the end of this thing is to just jot down, where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Yeah.
And I know it seems like a good idea to just get an associate to do the grunt.
3, 5, and 10 kind of thing.
Well,
Greg.
I think that might be daunting, but if someone just has the honesty to say, in 3 years, I only want to do 2 days a week of dentistry, boom, you have massive clarity. Now you know what type of associate you want. And then you can shape that person.
That's, I think, the person. I think that's the real avatar of someone who joins our mastermind. I feel like they come in and it's like they want to titrate down in days and learn that. I see that's
our. They get there, Pete. They get there.
Right.
So let's look at our masterminders. Like it's like they all came in, and it's like they didn't know what they didn't know. So the order of questions in September and October, right before our first retreat, was like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it's like, oh shit, I don't even want to do that. So I gotta unwind the partnership document I just sent. I shouldn't have bought that location. I'm closing down this location. It's like, we don't know what we don't know. So the hardest part about the mastermind, Pete, is helping people understand what the value is before they join. Within 60 days, it's like, oh my God. I should have joined 3 years ago.
You're right.
But you don't know what you don't know. So imagine like my house is on fire, but I'm asking you what type of running shoes I should buy.
Right.
Like, well, before you go run, just put the house out, the fire that's on the house. I know you want to run. I'm down. I love running too.
Trust me, bro. You want this. It's the whole trust me, bro. It's going to change your life. Trust me, bro.
Oh God. I know. But the good news is we've got more masterminders than
46 people.
Yeah. We got a ton of people, but it is funny that, I just want to make sure that the podcast is landing on people who are really thinking about things like this. So really important questions of like, what do you want to create?
And this is an important topic, which is, I hope senior doc and associate doc alike have some takeaways that they wrote down from this, because I think it's just a core. It should be a core principle. Like a lot of these should just be core principles of how you do dentistry, not just in the micro of this podcast topic.
Yep.
Okay, bud, that was a lot. That was full energy. I'm looking at my timer. We are right at an hour. I was hoping this was going to be a 30-minute one, but
just do it on your own, because I would have just
it would have been terrible.
No, it's terrible. That's not true. Let's take a little poll. If it's on YouTube, drop a comment if you want Pete to break off on his own and do his own podcast.
No, people only want me to break off when it comes to marketing. like this my AI and marketing presentation for the mastermind. It was like, Craig, you're like, I can't be there, and I was like, good.
It'd be better without you.
Better without you.
Dude, it's awesome. Brother. Is this our first podcast in the new year?
Maybe.
I feel like it might be.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well,
no, it's not. Because you asked me where I spent New Year's. I remember that on the pod.
Oh, got it.
And I was mad at you for disclosing my location.
Well, listen, I doxed you. So for people like me who have like a 5-second attention span, this feels brand new to me. It's amazing.
Well, there you go.
Thanks
every
for
day,
doing this.
Every day.
Every day is new.
Just like a golden retriever you are. Oh, look at this.
This is amazing. The goldfish in the same bowl.
All right, buddy.
Good stuff,
Over
bud.
and out. Thanks,
wait, one quick request, because we suck at this. If this was valuable, if you got any value whatsoever, please hit the like button, share this with a friend. You'd be shocked to know how many people do not know about this podcast. You have friends, colleagues that are hiring associates right now, and this would be massively valuable for them. So please share it, please like it, and hit subscribe.
Awesome. All right, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
See you later. Thanks, everyone, for watching today's episode of the Bulletproof Dental Practice Pod. We hope this conversation brought you a tremendous amount of perspective and reminded you of why you love dentistry. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, drop us a comment, and make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future episode. Additionally, it would really help us if you could send this message to someone that you think would enjoy it. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep leading boldly, and most importantly, stay bulletproof.